Hey, here we are. Sorry for the confusion. Um, I so what happened was I was actually setting up this stream over in both YouTube and in Twitch, making sure that all of that was correct. And for whatever reason, um, when I switched the setting on the upcoming stream that wasn't scheduled to be from unlisted to live, it updated my RSS feed or for my channel in YouTube. And that RSS feed is what my automation software ActivePieces uses to send out new posts across several different social medias to say, hey, there's something new on the channel. I actually hadn't scheduled anything. I hadn't gone live. I hadn't actually said, hey, go live at this time. I hadn't set a time or a date. I had set the title and I had set the thumbnail and I had set the description. And I had just saved, because that's supposed to be for upcoming stuff, just so that you can have it pre-configured and ready to go for when you actually do go live. And apparently when you update that, it also updates the RSS feed that then ActivePieces took as, hey, there's new content. So so that's what happened. Zero Linux Official, thank you so much for your kind donation there. I'm definitely going to need more coffee at some point today, I'm sure. So thank you for that. Thank you for everybody for putting up with the nonsense that is always a live stream on my channels. So yeah, that's what happened. I was just trying to get some stuff going, and ready to go live, because there was an app that, again, I wanted to use to test out. Again, it's called Meld. And Meld looks really, really cool. Like, I love the aesthetic of it. I love how it's supposed to work. But for some reason, my audio comes through just absolute trash. And I'm not entirely sure why. I've tried all kinds of different stuff. So anyway, that's how it's been going. I didn't intend on going live quite yet, but here we are. I'm going to jump over to here. Sorry, I don't have multi-stream turned on over there, so I couldn't really see what was going on. And of course, I didn't get ground control running. Hopefully ground control, no, not yet. Don't do that. Multi-chat, fine. We're going to bring this up to here. If I don't, sometimes, man, this monitor up here, this display, it's not even a monitor. It's my prompter from Elgato. When I drag something up there and I try to like full screen it, it very often just drops into the screen below to see what's going on. So yeah, so it's always a fiasco getting these going for some reason. I know it's a me issue. I know I'm the one screwing something up here, but here we are. So Nighthawk ATL says hello. So hi, how you doing? Glad to have you here. We've got Zero Linux in here. We've got Ilko Bosboom. I know I screwed that up. Greetings from the Netherlands. Thank you for making the pangolin proxy tut. I'm currently using and enjoying it. Raps Calorie says, I have to go, but wanted to pop in and say, hey, give you the engagement. Appreciate that. Ilko, I'm glad the video was helpful. Shortly after I released that video, they've made some big updates, and I haven't had a chance to revisit it yet, but I'm sure that will come up in time. I'm kind of wanting to do, I think, I don't know if it's going to be a new series, but kind of a, where are they now kind of thing, like where we talked about something 6 months ago or whatever, just to see how far it's come since then. I think that might be a kind of a fun series to check out and go with. But I haven't had a chance yet, because I just had that idea actually Saturday during our last stream, and here we are doing another one. I've got some updates that I want to get done, and I just thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. so you guys can kind of see how I do what I do with my updates. Maybe give you guys some ideas on how you might consider doing your own updates. So I'm gonna get logged into some stuff over here so that you can see what I'm doing. Let's see. My username is that. Jeez. Also, Mr. Grey Wolf, I promise I haven't been ignoring you over on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate that. Sent you a link of my homepage is set up to show off better than a screenshot. All right, well let's take a look at that here in a minute. One more thing I want to pull up in here. Go to Fi. I apologize if you can hear the fan going on behind me, but until this comes up a bit, I want to keep it warm. I want to keep it above like 70 degrees. So let's see here. When is it? Right meow is absolutely right. Interesting. Sure, I'll click a random link. Why not? Oh, well, that's interesting. I don't think I'm going to show this on stream, just for the security implications. I'm glad that you were able to show. You're able to send me that link, but I definitely don't want to share this this dashboard link in a public forum. It's just I don't want to cause any issues. So Mr. Grey Wolf says he's in both. But Zero Linux, your dashboard does look great. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad I got a chance to look at it. But yeah, my goal today is just like I said, I got to get some stuff done. And like every day, I get that. There we go. I get something like this, and this is because I just need to change a setting in Proxmox, so I can just delete that. That's just saying that my mail center didn't work. Whatever, I don't care. I'm still getting notifications on everything else. So so we're just gonna kill that. So what I do when I'm doing my maintenance, which only happens not as frequently as it should, I jump into my my Godify instance, and here I can see what things have updates available to them. And typically, like right now, we're seeing these first two are just Cloudflare tunnel agents. So we'll go ahead and get all these updated, not all of them. Like we've got a Maria database for speed test. Bookstack needs both its app and its database. Vault Warden needs Cloudflare and the server app. So yeah, we're just gonna dig through this. We'll go through this process and take a look at everything. So Michael Sem says, good morning all. I agree. Good morning. Glad to have you here. I hope you're all doing well. William says, hey DB Tech, big fan, just set up OMV7 following your tutorials. Just wanted to say hi. Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you so much for stopping by to say hi. I appreciate that. I'm glad those videos are helpful still to people. I originally got my start on this channel basically just doing like OpenMedia Vault 5 videos, and they were super popular. They did really well. And then OpenMedia Vault 6 came out and trashed the entire platform, in my opinion. And I've done some content on 7, but it's not nearly as it's not as popular these days. And I don't know why. If I'm being honest, like OpenMedia Vault 7 has actually come back from the grave, in my opinion. Like I said, 5 was great, 6 was trash, 7's better. And I feel like they even watched some of my content when they made 7, because a lot of my complaints got fixed. So anyway, I'm glad the videos are helpful. That's awesome. I'm super glad to know that those are helpful. Let's see. We've got a question here from a name that I'm going to screw up, so I'm going to skip it. It's not that I don't care. I just don't want to be insulting. It says, hey, DB Tech, do you prefer Authentic over other SSO platforms? It's a bit of an issue to create users, applications, etc. I've never actually used Authentic. I set up Athelia once and made a video about it, and it was soul crushing. At least at the time. I've heard it's gotten better. But as far as my SSO stuff, I don't really use anything like that to speak of. Excuse me. anything that I've got online that I need to have remote access to, I run through Cloudflare tunnels. I know a lot of people are super not okay with that, and I understand their logic to a certain degree, but I think there's a lot of unnecessary paranoia, and of course I say that not knowing everybody's situation, right? Um, so basically, if I need to give myself access to something outside my home, I create a Cloudflare tunnel on Cloudflare and then install an agent on whichever VM or LXC or piece of hardware or whatever that I need remote access to. And then I can from there restrict access to that app by using a third-party login like Google or GitHub. I can restrict by IP address. There's a lot of different things I can do with Cloudflare tunnels that is just dead simple to set up. So that's why I've gone that route. I don't want things to be complicated. Like I just my brain sometimes falls off, I guess is the best way to put it. And if I forget how to do something, I go into these downward spirals and panic attacks. And so I've actually got to. I need to get. That reminds me. I need to call my neurologist. Anyway, I've got a referral in for a new neurologist. Anyway, and so I need to have things as simple as possible for. I need to keep things simple for myself. Also, if anything happens to me, I need to make sure that my wife can still access things. And doing something like Authentic or Authelia or something like that would just be. It would be bad. So I use Cloudflare tunnels for all of my remote access needs. Let's see. I use OMV7 on my NAS, and that's awesome. Took me a while to figure out on my own, but it's great. Awesome. Really glad to hear that. Have you tried Microbin? I noticed you don't have a video on it, but maybe a future plan. I don't know. I feel like have I really not made it? I know it's come up. Microbin. Maybe I don't. That's crazy. Let me jump over to here real quick, and then we're gonna jump into what I need to do. Yeah, no videos on Microbin. I really should. If we're not, that's on that. I don't want that. Let's just take a quick look here. Microbin, secure text and file sharing web application with Pastebin. Imagine cloud storage but simpler and with cool features like URL redirection. Yeah, I should definitely take a look at that. I agree. So yeah, I will definitely take a look and see what we can do there. They've got this that we can do. Already have Docker. You can run that. I'm not a big fan of doing that. But let me see what that script actually. Of course, it's going to do it that way. Why wouldn't it do it that way? Let's open this up and see. Of course, then it's going to bring it over to there. Let's bring this out and bring this over to here. Let's go full screen. All right, let's see. So we're just checking to see if curl is installed. If not, then use wget. Echo installation directory. Then we're going to grab an env file and a compose file. And then we're going to enter. So that's, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I'd go that route. If I'm being, like, I'm not saying I won't look at the app. I just don't know if I want to go this route for installing it. I feel like using a bash script to install a Docker compose file is a bit unnecessary, if I'm being honest. But, you know, if that's the way you want to go, that's cool. So let's see. Kudu says, hi, glad to have you here. I only expose things that have a built-in auth system. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, I agree with what Nighthawk said there. Helpful PVE tip, make your container number scheme relative to the VLAN and its IP address. I agree. I don't do that. I just don't. I should. It makes a lot more sense to go that route. Like, you know, if Minifold was on .101 and 13-foot was on 102, like that, then that would be great. But I didn't consider that when I started doing this. So yeah, it's definitely good advice. I dig it. Nope, just manually grab the env and compose. Agreed. I wouldn't use the script. Just go to the Docker compose. Yeah, 100%. I think it's interesting that that's, and it's not to pick on these guys because they're not the only ones that do this, that have this option. I just feel like it sets a bad example or bad precedent to teach people to just run commands without looking at them. I think this is bad practice, especially if you're just learning. Like for us to go through and take a look at that and understand what we're looking at is one thing, but if you're new to self-hosting, if you're new to, or if you're not super tech savvy, just running scripts like this is super dangerous. So I don't advise doing this just for the sake of not setting up a bad practice in your own brain. Going over to like the documentation page, which is neat because it's not there. Quick start, not found because it's under documentation guide. Yeah, they need to redirect that. Introduction, GitHub repository. Then we can jump over to here. Docker setup. Again, I don't like that. What file is it grabbing? Just compose.yaml. Compose.yaml. Yeah. Geez. So there's a lot. There's a lot in there that you can manipulate for environment variables. Everything from auth username and password, admin username and password, editable. Do you want to? So there's lots of stuff in here. Anyway, that's an interesting idea that they've got there. I would prefer to just use the Docker Compose and the .env file for that. But that's not why we're here. I will definitely take a look at that at a later date because I think it's interesting. Yeah. So here we are. This is my Godify instance, and this is what we're going to dig through this morning. I prefer not using Docker at all. Docker might be easier, but you learn less doing it. I mean, it depends on the effort you put into it. It depends on how you're implementing things. I think a lot of people, also use turnkey solutions like straight from Proxmox, where you can go into their turnkey, in the like if we do like, and of course now I've drawn a complete blank PVEAM update. And then available, like you could say that you learn even less installing something like a turnkey here. I think it's all about how you approach things. Everybody can learn something from any platform with any amount of inquisitiveness. So totally respect where you're coming from. I think the desire to learn is what keeps people from learning. So anyway, let's take a look at this. So we've got an update on Video Vote, which is just a Cloudflare tunnel agent. So let's go ahead and jump into that. I'm actually going to swap order on this, and that was on video. It was on Video Vote. If you guys aren't familiar with my Video Vote site, which I don't think anybody is, because I'm really bad at promoting it, it's this. If you want to know, or if you want to recommend content to be featured or to be presented on the channel, you can go over here and you can enter a suggestion. Like I'm logged in, but you can log in a couple of different ways, whether it's via email or I think I've even got an option to use a third-party enter suggestion. Let's just click sign in. Yeah, you can log in via Google or GitHub. I think that should all still work. Or you can put in your email address and you'll get a little token you can log in with. And then you can suggest content or you can vote on other suggestions at videovote.dbtech.com. So there's that if you want to take a look at that. But anyway, all we need to do here is just update the Cloudflare tunnel agent. So if you're not familiar with what I just did there, I've got Portainer installed in a not a virtual machine, an LXC, and then from here I've installed agents on several, almost all of my other VMs and LXCs and that sort of thing, so that from here I can just jump in and update things. So if I can just type in like video vote or just video, here is that Portainer instance, and I can jump in. And then right here, I can see, let me select Portainer, Portainer agent, fighter, which is what video vote is built on. But right here, this random string of characters that doesn't have a repository or an image or whatever, I know that that's the one that needs to be updated. So I can just click here, I can click recreate, and then click repull image, and just click recreate. We'll give it a minute to pull and do what it needs to do, and then that will be done. Now it says Cloudflared, we're good to go. So I can just come over here, refresh that page, make sure it's good. It's still up, and I'm stoked about that. So now I can come over to here and delete that and move on to the next thing. That's the majority of what we're going to do today, just to hang out and chat. So Sam says, I'm going to submit something on video vote momentarily. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing that. So we're going to close that. Lenpaste is our next one, which is code.dbtech.com. This is Lenpaste. This is for sharing code and that sort of thing. I actually share a lot of code in this, like in my video descriptions and that. So we can come back to home. We'll say code. Oh, if I could type code. Jeez. All right. And then again, 5 containers. Here again, Cloudflare Tunnel, this random string of characters. It's not just Cloudflare Tunnel that does this random string of characters if there's an update. All of them will do that. We'll see that later. But again, I'm just going to click on recreate, repull image. It's always best practice also before doing that to make sure that the update actually isn't going to break things. But with Cloudflare, it's not. There's no data being stored. It's just a communication device. So that's updated. Let's refresh. Still works. Good to go. So I can come over here and I can delete this one. So next we've got speed test. We've got an image for the newest version of Marie Database 10. So that's what we're going to take a look at here. If I were to do something like this, I could do like hub.docker.com. Screw it, we'll just do this, and we'll do that, Marie Database. Come over to here, tags. We're looking for latest. That's 11. That is all 11. That is all still 11. Holy cow. I should really take a look and see if the newest version of speed test, I think that's the one we're on. Yeah, if it's got a version that has a newer version of of the Marie database version 10. It looks like even the version 10 stuff was updated 3 days ago, so it should be fine. Although I'm not super stoked to see all of this in the middle there for those vulnerabilities. High severity. Oh, geez, that's not what I wanted. Darn it. Come on. Critical severity 3 on Marie database, 35 high severity, 19 medium severity, 1 low severity, and 1 of unspecified severity. That's not great. I don't know which version or which platform they've got for their base OS on this. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Because this may be the application, or it could be the underlying, like it could be Alpine, or it could be whatever the underlying thing there is. Anyway, it is what it is sometimes. So we're on speed test, so we're just going to close this out. Do a search for speed test, like so. XX Ken XYZ says hi. Hi. Aruna says hello. Glad to have you here. Hope everybody's doing well. We're just doing some basic server maintenance here this morning. Let's see. Making sure everything here looks good. That's stupid. All right. Why? Interesting. Containers over here. All right, so here we've got our database. This root, let's see, what's going on DB Tech? I just hanging out, just doing some updates. I got, a bunch of stuff over here in my Godify that says it needs some updates. So we're just going to hang out and do that. That's all we're doing today. I hope you're doing well. Our Hightower. Maintenance, never heard of it. Yeah, I'm real bad about keeping up on it. I get these updates every day. And so I'm trying to do updates when I remember to do them. And sometimes I'll go a week without doing the updates, so I'll end up with a bunch of new information, a bunch of repeat information rather, in Godify there. Again, that was speed test. Let's see, speed test tracker. Continue. All right, well that seems to have worked, so let's, I don't think that's right. Yeah, I didn't think so. That should get me logged in. There we go. Cool. So everything's still working, which means our update didn't break anything. Speed test result was deleted. Oh, wow. So it did an auto purge a couple of weeks ago and deleted 8,200 results. Interesting. That's fine. I'm not real worried about that. But anyway, that's good. So that's speed test is still up and working. Glad to see that. So I can close this over here, delete that. Let's see. Let's scroll back up. Okay, we have some questions. Solprax says hello. Zero Linux says, why not have Watchtower do the updates for you? Good question. And the reason for that is because it's bad practice. And that's not to say I'm not guilty of it, right? I actually have the HL15 that we're logged into right now that we're doing these updates on. And because there are times where, and this is bad practice on my part with this as well. If we take a look here, right, we can see that I'm using Linux servers bookstack with the latest tag. Sometimes using the latest tag is actually a really, really bad idea. Yes, you will get the newest version of the app, but sometimes there are breaking changes in new releases. And when you do that, if you just let the update happen automatically without any oversight, there is a chance that it'll break things and it'll bork your system. So it's always good practice to just go in and take a look at these kinds of things themselves manually. That said, the stuff that's running on my Synology right there is it just auto updates like every Thursday at whatever time. So it's bad practice to have these kinds of things automated if there's no checks in place to make sure that it's not going to be a breaking change. Jan says, are you also doing backup of your stuff today? Yes, but I already did it. Everything on this server backs up every day automatically. In fact, if I come over to here to like the data center, go to backups. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it this way. If I come over to here and go to backup. Oh, interesting. V3, where is that? Backups. Okay, here we go. So here we can see it looks like there is some stuff that I need to change the backup settings on, possibly. But like this 101 manifold. Ghost test. Yeah. So we can, oops, you can't see my screen. Here we go. So if we take a look here, we can see, of course, where is it? Yeah, 217. This was this morning. All of the backups took place there. Like all my backups run every day. Though it does look like I need to change a couple of things here. As far as these backups are concerned, I need to redirect those to something else. So backups on Manyfold and on 13-foot didn't update because of my backup thing, which I'm glad we checked. Backups, HL15, all, yeah, it's this one. So yeah, this was my fault. Include selected VMs. It should just be select all. That would have fixed that there. Tomorrow morning, these things will update and it'll be fine. I also aren't going to do that. I'm not going to do updates on Minifold or 13-foot yet until I get a full backup of those. But I could, if I wanted to, run a backup now and it would be fine. So every night, my backups happen automatically. So I'm not super worried about that. I tend to install stuff and then never update unless I experience bugs. That's a huge security risk for the record. I'm almost as good at updates as I am with documentation. I don't know if that's good or bad. I follow GitHub releases via RSS, read the changelog, and update my stuff. That's a great practice. I've linked most of my containers to widgets on homepage, so when I open my browser, I can see a quick glance at my containers. That's awesome. Also, if they get compromised, an image containing malware gets uploaded. Never use latest. Yeah. Again, like I'm aware that I've got a bad practice in here by using latest. I'm aware that I've done that, but you're absolutely right. If something gets compromised with malware or whatever, yeah, they can bork your whole system by using latest. It's bad practice. Best thing to really do is pin to a specific. Yeah, agreed. I 100% agree with that. But it's tedious because it requires more work, but it is more secure. If you have Watchtower auto update, you can also set it to either delete or keep images. If that's the issue, you can roll back to the latest image that work. Yep. Your Plex would be smaller and easier to back up and restore if you changed your generate BIF frame. You're interesting. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know. And this is where you guys often teach me things. I don't know what a generate BIF frame interval to 10 seconds is. I don't even know. I have no idea what that is. But if you'd like to share that in Discord, I'm happy to take a look at it later. Slow says, I'm just getting started with traffic and it's always working. I have several instances on different VLANs. Would be best to run one Docker instance with networks. I don't like traffic. So I'm not a good person to ask about that. Another weird question, why do some containers use an old version of dependencies like Maria or Postgres? I think it just has to do with their update schedule. Sometimes rebuilding to support a new version of a database, going from like version 10 to version 11, sometimes there are huge things that cause issues. So what a lot of developers will do in those cases is they will continue maintaining their current stuff on, like say, version 10 of Maria database, just as an example there, until they're able to build a new version of their app that supports the newest version, say version 11, as another example. The problem with that is kind of what we were talking about earlier. If everybody's using latest, when that new version comes out that supports version 11 instead of version 10, then things can break. So it's kind of a balancing act, I think. So they wait for real big changes before they do a full switch, but then they have to do some sort of a press release or some kind of migration thing to keep things from breaking. So I think it's just practice, or they're just doing that while they're building something else to meet the new standard or whatever the new database is, based on my limited knowledge of how these things get built. It's the trick play files for the video preview thumbnails. Huh. Yeah, I'm still not sure why I would do that. The reality is I need to move Plex over to a different piece of hardware anyway, and rebuild this whole thing, this whole Plex VM. It was built poorly from the start, and I've had a lot of issues with it, so I need to swap it out and do something different. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. How come you don't have a local reverse proxy for Proxmox Web UI and stuff? Because I don't feel the need to. Doing it this way works for me. And look, most everything that I access, I do access via a reverse proxy. If it's something that I don't want the rest of the world to have access to, I do an IP restriction, so I can only access it on my home's IP address or an IP address that I have, a dedicated IP address I have purchased with my VPN provider. Everything else gets locked down. Nobody else has access to it. So I've got a couple of ways of doing it, and I don't put Proxmox online. Like, I don't have remote access to Proxmox without some sort of a VPN access to it. So yeah. So our Hightower says, I see you have LXC containers running. A couple of questions, and I do apologize if you've mentioned this before. Why LXC containers instead of running a Docker host with everything? That's a valid question. Because I'm paranoid and because I'm dumb. And I don't think it's dumb to do things the way I've done, but because I have very dumb days, sometimes dumb weeks, I try to keep things as simple for myself. It's smart me looking out for dumb me, basically, right? So let's say I had all of these LXCs in a single VM, right? Which is a very common practice. And let's say I ran an update on Memos and it trashed the system. Let's say Memos got compromised, like we were talking about earlier in the stream. Let's say because Memos got compromised, it trashed everything on that VM. Well, now I've got to restore that entire VM and all of the apps that are in there to a previously known good state. And if I do that, then any data that has changed in any of these other VMs over here gets rolled back to that previously known good state. I know that there are ways that you can pull individual files and you can restore individual things, or or I can just restore this. I can come over here and I go to backups. I don't know why it's still trying to connect to, let's come over to here. I really need to get this out of there. It's having a conniption fit because it can't connect to that server anymore because that server is not online anymore. But anyway, I can come over here and I can just restore a backup of that one individual application versus having to restore part of a VM and hope that I got it all right. Doing it this way for me just keeps things simple. And that's really the only reason that I do it that way, is just to keep things simple for when I'm having a dumb day. If an update goes poorly, then I can just restore back to yesterday or this morning's backup of that prior to the update, borking it, and only have it affect that one thing versus all of my different containers. That's it. Yeah, Sam Zick says, Hightower, LXCs are easy to back up and restore. That's basically it. In fact, I did a video, if you're curious, you want more details, I think this is the video for that. I want to make sure I'm sending you the right one. That one's actually taken off recently. That's weird. Here's the rationale. I actually made a video because that has been asked in the past. So I made a dedicated video on it if you want to take more of a look at it. Dave says, I want to use Watchtower to monitor updates on my Docker containers. Do I have to install Watchtower on every LXC container or just one instance? I have it installed on everything. There may be ways to do it with one instance, but I just have it installed on everything, again, because if I have a dumb day or a dumb week, I don't want to try to remember how I did it. So everything, basically, like, if we take a look, like in my templates, like okay, I just need to fix this real quick. So yeah, it's just like my base template from when I'm deploying an LXC on my instance has, I believe it has Watchtower just built into it, so that I don't have to worry about installing it and configuring it later. Let me see over here. Where is it? Disks. Oh, let's see. No storage. Backup. All right. Let's get rid of. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get rid of both of these backup servers because they're causing me issues. So I'm just going to remove it. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to remove this because, again, that's an old one. I've still got my V3 Proxmox. Next run is in the morning. So anyway, I apologize, you guys probably couldn't see that, but I had multiple backup servers in here. Even though two of them were disabled, it was causing me issues down here. I also want to come back over to here and remove these as well. This is my first Proxmox backup. I don't even think that's still online. 8006, because I'm pretty sure, no, that should be 8007. I guess it is still technically online, but it's not doing anything. Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. That's fine. Okay, let's see here. When was this done last? Content. Yeah. Okay, that was whatever. I may have screwed myself there because I'm dumb. This is what happens, man. Like, in all honesty, this is what happens. So, let's see. 8007. Continue. Advanced. Just want to see when was the last thing that was updated here. Yeah. So this. Yeah, this is old. This is my initial. This hasn't. Nothing has even touched this since October. My version 3, which is my most recent version. Yes, I understand that. If I go to storage, I go to content. Yeah, this was this morning at 1 o'clock. This is still good. So we're good there. I really needed to get that one out of there. So this one hasn't been touched in a long time. So we're just going to remove it. And then V2, I don't know if there's anything on that one either. So that one's not even online. Yeah, that one's 16, which is this one, which is fine. So I'm just going to remove that one as well. Okay, that's better. That should make things a little bit better. There we go. And this is 301. Yeah, 217 was this morning. You can see all of those are good. Okay, now now I feel better about everything. Let's see. So Dave, I apologize for not really directly answering your question. I have it installed in all of my VMs and all of my LXCs, just again because my dumb brain sometimes does dumb brain things, and I forget the basics sometimes, and it's super frustrating. So I just have Watchtower on everything. Jorge says, "Hi, good morning. On vacation, glad to be here instead of at work. I don't blame you. Have you explored projects like Lazy Tainer?" I have. I actually made a video on it. It has been a while, but I do have a video on Lazy Tainer on my channel somewhere. Let me do this. Lazy Tainer. Yeah, that thumbnail sucks. It was also 2 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago. Yeah. Copy link address. There's my Lazy Tainer video. What's up? Oh, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Oh, I love getting some good tea. All right, so there's T. She's awesome. Was not expecting that. But anyway, there's Lazy Tainer. I made a video on that a couple of years ago. Should probably revisit that at some point. Let's see. It's running an old X99 system with 2,000 days and going strong. That's amazing. I actually had something similar to that. I didn't do it on Manjaro, but I did it on Windows, and I just installed Plague Server on that because it was just easier to use my NVIDIA GPU at the same time, rather than having to install all of their nonsense extra stuff. So yeah, no, I think that's great. All right. Okay, so somebody used video vote and has a question there. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that later. Cool. First time on live, I see a lot of LXCs, but Watchtower 2, is that Docker and LXC? If so, how's your experience with it? Asks Spyros. I made a couple of videos on it a while back. In fact, just shared one earlier. But it works out really well. I know not everybody likes what I've done there, and I've taken some crap for it. I don't care. That's the cool thing about that. There's the video I made about the rationale of using LXCs. So yeah, what I've done is I've got LXCs for basically everything, except for some VMs that really needed the dedicated stuff. And I put Docker on it. I put Docker Compose. I put Portainer. I put Watchtower, and Cloudflare tunnels. I just put all of that on there. And then when I deploy something, I'm just ready to go. That way, if something does compromise one of my containers, then I can just roll back that to a previously known good state, and it just works for me. Again, not everybody wants to do it that way, and that's perfectly acceptable. Plex video. All right, so Sam says, Plex video preview thumbnails take about 30 to 80 megabytes per movie episode file. It's an image snapshot of video. This default setting is 5, changing to 10. I don't know where to change that. Like Sam, you keep explaining this to me, which I appreciate, but I've apparently missed something, or you haven't said where I changed that. It's probably me, if I'm being honest. I can turn that up a little bit. I've turned up the volume a little bit, Quantum Leaper. Definitely lower than normal. That's really about all I can do at the moment, unfortunately. I just turning that up a little bit. Hopefully it didn't blow anybody's eardrums out. I apologize if it did. So we are getting crackles in the audio. I wondered about that. Yeah, I don't know if it's my Focusrite or what, but I've been having audio issues with this device since I got it, and like sometimes just rebooting fixes it, and other times it doesn't. And it's super frustrating. I've checked the buffer, I've checked all kinds of stuff in there, and it's just sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And this is what I get for going live without checking that first. I thought the issue was just with this other app I wanted to use, but apparently not. I apologize. So anyway, let's jump back over to here. I definitely got to figure out what's going on with my audio. Bookstack. All right, so now we're going to jump into Bookstack. We're going to update a couple of things in there. All right, Bookstack DBTE should be this one. Oh, so no, the backup size on that is because I screwed up the VM when I built it. The VM is a terabyte in storage space. It's not. It's just allocated that whole thing, and it's not that's how much space I'm using. That's how much space I've allocated to that VM. But because I didn't set up the LMV setting correctly in the VM when I built it, it is what it is, and that's just how it be. So. Anyway, we've got our this is for DB Tech. It's this one right here. This is Bookstack instance. And we can see that it's actually got two different things here. So in this case, when I've got both the application and the database, I update the database first. So that when I restart the app container, it will automatically reconnect. So I'm just going to go ahead and recreate this database with the newest version. So yeah. Yeah. All right. So that now our database is updated. So let's do our wiki here. Let's do a recreate and re-pull that image. I'm also confused about why. Maybe it's the way I set this up. I'll have to take a look. For some reason, this doesn't have an update on the. Because I installed it as an agent in the OS, which means I need to go in and fix that. Okay, so this is one of those things that I'm accessing this DBTech wiki via Cloudflare, but I installed it as a Debian agent, which is a completely different update process, and I'm not getting notifications for that. Though this is still working, so yay. Okay, so that's one more down, one more ready to go here. Next, I've got my password manager. Let's take a quick look at that. Go back over to here. Let's just do this. Pass, maybe. There it goes. So 5 containers. Again, we've got a couple of them in here. We've got our Cloudflare tunnel, and we've got our Vault Warden instance. So I'm just going to go ahead and recreate, repull those images, do that. Let's see. Cloudflare tunnel. This is my password manager is one of those things that is only accessible from two different IP addresses. Again, for security purposes. I was having issues with the container going down, and I wasn't sure if it was a container issue or if it was somebody not necessarily DDoSing it, but doing something crappy. So I just restricted access to it a while back. So that is coming back up. So that should be fine. Boop, 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 boop. Yep, all that's good. Yay. All right. Dave says, thank you for responding. I keep my LXC separate because of the exact same reason. Something broke and took down an entire VM. Yeah, that's it. Like 100%. So I'm glad other people use kind of the same rationale that I do. It makes me feel not quite so alone. Let's see. Link stack is next. Link stack. I'm still bummed about this one, if I'm being honest. This is link stack. It's your own self-hosted link tree, and it used to be open to the public. It used to be one of those things that anybody could use. They could sign up for an account. They could create a profile like this, and it got so bombarded with spam, I had to shut it down. It was overwhelming. Apparently, new things have been implemented to help that sort of thing, but I haven't updated to that version yet. Let's see. Link stack. It's Cloudflare tunnel. It needs to be updated here. Let's see. Curious about if you've tried co-location or thought about it. I have thought about it, but I haven't done it yet. Again, I'm trying to keep things simple. And actually, Techno Tim did a video about that a while back, and he did it, and it worked out really well for him. One of the issues that I have with the self-hosting community is people being pedantic. When I made the Pangolin video a month ago or whenever that was, in order to get the whole process to work as a Cloudflare tunnel alternative with no port forwarding to access your infrastructure, the same way that like Cloudflare Tunnels has their infrastructure, and then you install an agent on your system locally. That's how Pangolin works. In that particular use case, right? And the amount of hate that I got because, well, if you're renting a VPS from somebody else, then you're not self-hosting. Like, what kind of trivial, pedantic nonsense is that? I don't understand the elitism in the self-hosting community sometimes. Like, if you can't physically touch it, it's not yours. Okay, that's technically true, but I'm the sysadmin. I'm the only one with access to it. I'm the one that's managing it. I'm doing all of the stuff. I'm just paying somebody else $11 a year to rent out a piece of their hardware, their software, their whatever, so that I can have an alternate option rather than giving all of my data to Cloudflare if you wanted to be tinfoil hatty about Cloudflare as well. And people are all pissed off about people using Cloudflare. People are all pissed off about using VPSs. Like, the amount of hate that I have seen in the self-hosting community over the last couple of years has just been frustrating. It's like, this is how I run my stuff. You don't have to run your stuff like that. If you want to do that, don't do that. But to say you're not self-hosting because you are renting a VPS from another company as an access point to get in is about one of the dumbest takes I've seen on something in a while. So anyway, no, I haven't done co-location, to answer your question. What about running all of these Docker apps to Kubernetes? I don't have any desire to do that. That sounds awful. Has anyone ever had the issue where your Plex server is too large and had to split it into two Plex servers? I have not. Will it have any advantages over Docker? I don't. Oh, for me, no. Kubernetes would have no advantages over Docker. It would be too much complication for unnecessary. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. And Aruna, that's exactly my point. Like, wow, you didn't even design your own CPUs. What even are you doing these? Yeah, that's almost the exact correlation I've made. So yeah, uh, um, reviews of the VPS. Hightower says $11 a year. What are you using? I use RackNerd. There's a URL for you to take a look at. Those are affiliate links. It's declared on the page. But yeah, $11 a year. You can take a look through what's there. Make self-hosting great again. Yeah, the VPS is not self-hosting as such BS. I'm behind a CGNet, so if I want a public IP, yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you, Spiros. That's yes. Yep, Mr. Grey Wolf, that's exactly it. RackNerd, that's the one I use. Let's see. Ryzen 10,000 DB Tech Edition. Man, I wish. I'm not that smart of a guy. Like I do okay with this kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, I'm not. I know my limits. I use a VPS just, yeah, that's exactly right, Kudu. Like, if you want to obfuscate your IP address, or you don't want to publicly announce your IP address, you have to have a third party in there somewhere. You know, whether that's using Cloudflare tunnels or whether that's using, you know, Pangolin with a VPN or any WireGuard instance on there, right? But Pangolin was specifically what we were talking about a minute ago. So yeah, it's just the amount of elitism that I see with people that are just like, oh, you're using a VPS, you're not self-hosting. You're using Cloudflare, so you're not self-hosting. Like, it's so frustrating. So frustrating that people are so pedantic about that kind of stuff. Link stack is done. All right, let's close that one out. It is not just you, Alexia. So what happened this morning is I was going through and I was pre-building my streams over in YouTube and Twitch, and when I made the update, my automation system was like, "Hey, he is live." I wasn't live yet. I had done some testing with a different streaming app that I wanted to use but couldn't because of this issue to the nth degree worse. And I was like, screw it, I'll just go live. And unfortunately, there's been crackling in the audio, and I apologize for that. I'm gonna do better next time. So that's what it is. Yeah, Kudu says Pangolin on RackNerd's what I'm using. That's awesome. Yeah, so again, I apologize for the audio. Again, I think the issue is my Focusrite audio interface. This is my I think this is my second Focusrite. No, this is my first Focusrite. I had a Behringer prior to this that I was having to replace them like every 6 months. They just kept dying on me. And everybody was like, hey, you should do this. I've actually checked. Everything is stereo, 44.1K. Everything matches up between Streamlabs and between Focusrite. I think there is a problem with this. I've even checked my buffer sizes in the Focusrite companion app. Rebooting very often fixes it, but if I reboot, it's going to cause an issue with the stream. So unfortunately, it just kind of is what it is at this point. Thank you. Nope, not noise cancellation either. Well, I tell you what, let's do this. I have error. There's an error setting. I don't think that's going to do anything there. I don't have any additional filters on here. Let's see, edit filters. The only filters I've got here are for gain, but they're all turned off. That's all turned down low. So I don't know. Is your S-video connection plugged in properly? Right. Thank you, Zero. Appreciate that. I don't know. One of these days, man. One of these days, I'll get it sorted. Is your mic plugged into a hub? No, it used to be, but no, it's a USB-C cable that goes from the back of the Focusrite into the back of my computer. I've tried a couple of different plugs on the back of my computer, one through a PCI card, one through my GPU. I don't actually think my motherboard has USB-C on it, to give you an idea of how old my motherboard is. So I don't know. I may just end up going back to a USB microphone. So I don't know. I've tried like that, which is also a great question. I've tried several different cables. I've tried cables from different manufacturers. I've tried different plugs. I've tried different, and I always end up with the same thing, which is why I'm actually considering just going back to a USB microphone. In fact, hold on, give me a second here. If I can find a USB cable, I may just do it to avoid this. Hold on. Here's the cable I need. Oh, man. Let's see. I don't know if that's gonna work. We'll try it. Wait, hold on. Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree that the USB mics are pretty good. But I've got an Audio Technica up here. In fact, I've got a couple of Audio Technicas that I've used that have been great, but the issue inevitably ends up being my audio interface. Where it randomly just wants to give me crap. And it's super, super frustrating. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Oh, geez, man. I must have done it with a pair of pliers or something. Holy crap. Let's spin you around. We're going to put a microphone. I apologize. We're going to get there, guys. We're going to get there together. We make a good team here, I think. And then we're going to bring this over here and plug this in. See what happens. Jeez. All right. Okay, so now we're not using this. Had the same issue. Open Task Manager. Screw it. Let's do that first before we switch over to this, right? Task Manager. We're going to pop this open. Let's just bring this over to here. Let's minimize this. Close that. All right. Task Manager. Find audio. I apparently don't have that as an option. Even scrolling down to here. Let's see. Audio DG. Audio device graph. Resource values. Efficiency mode. Go to details. Yeah, CPU shows 0, man. I don't know. I don't know. Let me do this. I'm going to add... Oops, I want to add... Hold on here. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. Properties, filters, properties. Huh. turn that on. Default cam link. Yeah, it's not even showing this microphone for some reason. Because why would it? Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, no, this is Windows 11 for you. Let me see over here. Yeah, for some reason it's not even showing me. It's not even showing me this. Oops, no, let me do this. Let's unmute that. Oh, hey. Okay. This. Okay. Can you still hear me? Does it sound any different? Apparently now this Mayono USB mic says that it's working. I don't know if that's true. You can still hear me. Okay. That's good. I'm thank you for that. Yes, I can hear you. Awesome. Thank you for confirming. Let's just, it sounds better. Okay. I think it's better, much better. Everybody says this is better. All right. Well, the mic is working. Sounds good. Say rubber baby buggy bumpers. Okay. Well, if that's the case, if this seems to be working then that's great. I'm going to do one more thing here real quick. Okay. I just wanted to switch over to me just to make sure that it was still going to work over there. That's good. That's good. Still soft, no crackling. Okay, let's see here. Man, I've got it turned up about as high as I can go without it clipping there. Let me see if we've got any filters here. Edit filters. Let's add a filter. Let's do a gain. Let's add some gain. So the gain is currently set to 0. I'm going to set the gain to 1. And let's see, that didn't seem to do anything. Let's bring this up a little more. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's bring it up to like 4. Okay, so that's the gain set to 4. I don't know if it actually helped at all. So there's still soft enough. Okay, that's it. Like that's really about as high up as I can bring it. Oh, Duke, I will. You suck, dude. Okay. All right, let's see. Hopefully it's a little better. Hopefully it's a little louder. I bumped the audio gain up about 4 dB, I think. Can I do it from here? I cannot. Sounds better. Okay, nice gains, bro. Okay, cool. We're just gonna run with this for right now. That said, you may hear the keyboard more because I've got a clicky keyboard. It is what it is. So definitely better. Okay, outstanding. Thank you guys for your help. Like genuinely, thank you for that. Cool. Let's DB raise the DB. He did indeed about 4. Let's see. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything up here. Okay, yeah. All right, that sounds better. Okay, there was something in there. That Focusrite, though, you're not the only one with that issue. Your motherboard might leave the USB on, which causes an issue with it since it doesn't reset the power. The power down. Oh, without a power down. Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me, I guess. The reality, what I really wanted to do at one point, and I made an effort to do it, was I wanted to actually use a mini PC out here. I've got a couple of them that I had done some testing with a couple of months ago, just because I know that this system is getting dated, it's getting old, and I need a refresh, but I don't have the money for it right now. So my goal was to use, initially it was to use the AUStar Gem 12 that I've got sitting over here, and that wouldn't work. And then I was like, well, then I'll use the Asus NUC 14 Pro Plus, and I tried that and it wouldn't work because for some reason, I don't know what it is about. So in order to do that, in order to connect this camera to that, I would need to use one of these Camlink 4Ks. It's what I've got. I would need to plug one of these into there to get, well, to get this camera to plug into it, but they don't seem to provide enough power to these or something. I don't know. Maybe it was a driver issue. Could be any number of things. And I just gave up on it. I've just been using this old dated computer over here. I may give it another try at some point. Nice gains. Okay, so we're caught up on there. Or just switch to Linux. You know, out here, of course I say that. If the problem is that like the software that I use for streaming, like I don't think Elgato supports Linux. I don't think, well, that wouldn't matter anyway. So I think the biggest thing that's keeping me from that out here is Elgato. Like I've kind of gone all in on Elgato, so you know, officially, oh, yep. Yeah, I just have one distro in mind. Yeah. All right, cool. So, all right. So thank you again for helping me deal with all of that. All those 30-day Linux challenges, all those creators who stream do content creation, they end up with some kind of issue challenge that's super painful with their configs. Right. And I don't, like, I'm sure that my setup is simple enough. In fact, I've done streams on, I've done streams on Linux before. Elgato downloads. Let's see. Elgato downloads. This isn't where I want to be. Products, marketplace, downloads. All right. Let's see. Windows. Everything is for Windows. Select your product. Let's just say I'm using the teleprompter. Requires Windows 10 64-bit or later. Yeah, there's just not like beta versions, filter by file system, Mac or Windows. There doesn't really seem to be anything in here that will work with the Stream Deck or the prompter, the Stream Deck, all of that natively. I'm not saying there's not an option out there. But yeah, so that's the big holdup, I think. So yeah. Yeah, okay, so you can use it unofficially. That's Elgato makes me want to gelato. Let's see. All right, cool. All right. So jumping back over here to updates, HedgeDoc. Let's take a look at HedgeDoc. So back over here to my Portainer setup here. HedgeDoc. We just jump into that. Containers, Cloudflare Tunnel right there. We can again, if you're just joining, we can see that there's an update here because the image that's right there is a string of random characters and not the actual image name. So we can just come into here and click recreate, repull image, and redeploy. Just that simple. Should be good to go there. Nice, easy enough. So now I can delete that one. So now we got DB Tech reviews, which is not that. It's this. Let's see. Okay, there's an option for the Stream Deck. Okay, use the Stream Deck with webhooks to post to the Linux machines running OBS. Right, I mean, you could, I suppose. That seems really tedious. I don't know of any rack layout design tools, but that's an interesting idea. I don't even know. You might, yeah, I was going to say, thank you, Collins. I was actually thinking that same thing. Streamboo, remove this. Never heard of Streamboo. But thanks for joining. We've got somebody new over there on the Discord, so thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Draw.io and Visio. Draw.io is great for rack design. Awesome. Well, there you go. That's awesome. All right, so DB Tech reviews. This is DB Tech reviews. I need to do some updates on this. I've actually considered switching away from WordPress, and I've actually got an instance of Ghost for this that I've been messing around with a little bit. The problem with it is that there's no way natively in Ghost to delete the tags. And I've got a lot of tags in my WordPress thing, and there's no way to delete tags other than one by one or via a database query. And I don't feel like doing either of those, so I haven't switched to Ghost only because of that. Again, I try to keep things as simple as possible. All right, we're doing DB Tech reviews here. DB Tech reviews. Cool. So we've got a Cloudflare tunnel that needs to be updated, and we've got Redis, and we've got WordPress. So my order of operations here is going to be Cloudflare tunnels just to get that done and out of the way. Then I'll do Redis, then I'll do WordPress. Again, whatever the app is, I try to do that last so that it can reconnect everything that has been redeployed during these updates. So I'm just going to redo Cloudflare real quick. Sunny, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. You very nice comment there. I'm glad that my content is helpful. Let's see. So Redis, we're going to go ahead and click recreate, and then we're going to repull, and then we're going to recreate. Now, this may actually bork the entire thing, but I have ways that I can fix it. So again, I'm just going to repull this, recreate this. Yeah, I've considered doing that, and that's if that Redis update borks this like it might, then what I'll have to do is actually go back into the LXC and redeploy it that way, because I think, yeah, that's how I deployed it, was via an LXC. So let's see, here, refresh. It didn't bork it. That's awesome. Cool. Nope, everything's still good. Glad to see that. That's why I've got a certain order of operations that I do things in, just to make sure that it's less likely to cause an issue. Although it looks like I also need to update my Portainer instances. I'm not sure why I'm not getting updates about that. Am I not? I'm not getting updates about that. That's weird. Huh. All right. Next, we've got URLs. So let's jump into that real quick. URLs, if you're not familiar, is the link shortening service that I use. Been using it for years. In fact, my instance of URLs predates. No, my use of URLs predates my self-hosting endeavors, and I had it hosted on a third-party server. I don't remember who I was using at the time, but it was there for years. And then I decided to, because I'm self-hosting, I was like, well, I can just bring all of that stuff in-house, and I did, like DB Tech reviews, URLs, a couple of others, where I was paying $15 a month or something for this third-party service, and then I was like, well, I'll just bring it all in-house. But I had a really hard time getting URLs to go in-house for a while, and then I got it to work. So URLs has been something I've been using for a really, really long time. Okay, so we've got a MySQL database update that we can see right here. So I have to lean over because the microphone is right in my way now. I'll move it up there eventually. Or over here, I'll move it eventually. I just don't want to mess with it because it's working. Speaking of working, have there been any crackles since then? Since we switched to this, has the audio maintained? Or are we still hearing the crackles? That would be good to know. Recreate. My domain name is long enough that it defeats the purpose of short things I could. Yeah, sound clear. Thank you. Appreciate that. No snaps or pops. Perfect. Thank you so much for confirming. So it definitely is the focus right. So I may have to do some more testing just to make sure. I may still try some other stuff with one of these mini PCs over here, just to see if I can get it to work properly. So I'm going to do this real quick. Oops. Okay, just want to see. All right. Love a good Spaceballs reference. That's awesome. Well done, Sam. Let's see. 15 rows. Let's do. I want to take a look at something here real quick, just to see. Oh, I can't show you this anyway. That sucks. Yeah. So like my first thing in here, I mean, I guess I can show you this because these IP addresses are not mine anymore. Just to give you an idea of how long I've had this data from URLs. Let me do this. This is December 7th, 2017 is when I deployed URLs for the first time. And I moved all of this data from, again, that third-party hosting provider in-house a year and a half ago. But yeah, you can see December 7th is when I first started hosting this. And yes, I know you can see these IP addresses. That's from when I was on Xfinity 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago. Well, that was my IP address 8 years ago. That is not my current IP address. So, yeah, I don't care if you see that. But yeah, this is, you can see, like, it gets a fair amount of use. Like, 30,000 clicks on that, 20,000 clicks on that one, 22. Yeah, so I've been using this for a really, really long time. So let's go ahead and close this. Like that. That's good. We're good there. URLs, we'll close that. What do we have next? After URLs, all of that's still working. We're good to go there. Memos. Memos is the last one. If you can get a DeLorean and do that, man, have at. That would be really funny, because then you could tell me 8 years ago that this came from 8 years from then. That'd be something. Memos. And then I was still actually pretty crazy back then. So I might have actually believed you too. Memos. This one. Just that one needs to be updated. Neat. Recreate. And do that. Man, the emails just keep pouring in this morning. Some of these, I keep getting these emails from these people. Partner creator at monetize, official creator monetized. Interesting. So the somebody at Monetized has reached out to me. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. So, okay, memos. Memos is done. That's great. Now, let's come over to here. So we can delete that one. That was our task list for this morning. So messages. This message was from 10 hours ago when my server backed up. And here we can see how big the backups were. Again, that one terabyte or tibibyte, I suppose, and gigabyte, whatever, is because I didn't set up the logical volume manager correctly when I built that VM. So it is what it is, and there's all of the data for all of that. And it looks like everything status was okay on everything. As long as I get that notification and Godify every morning, I know that I'm good to go there. That was I don't care about. Watchtower. Cool. That's it. Like that's this is all stuff we just did. So we're going to delete all of this every Saturday morning. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, something. I get these updates where Ansible has updated the LXCs, so that's good. So, yep, those were all done the other day, and then again another backup was completed here. Let's scroll, and then again just more of the same. So that was it. That was everything we wanted to do this morning. So I can just click delete all and say yes. And there we go. There's my task list for this morning completed. Of course you asked. Of course I deleted that. So. Let's see. Hold on. Neto says, evening from Germany. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. How is that PVE update set up? That's with Ansible. Let's see. Is it here? Make sure it's this one. Okay, so we'll come into console and we'll get logged in. IPA for the IP address. Just, okay, that's what I thought that was. Back over here. This is, okay. So let's just jump over to here. Let's go back to local. Like this. Local containers. Oh, okay, so I don't actually have Watchtower exited. That's why I'm not getting notifications there. Well, that's stupid. Anywho, so I'm using Semaphore for this with Ansible. So if I jump over to here, yeah, I understand. There we go. So, interesting. All right, so update LXCs. So this is my Ansible. Well, this is my Semaphore dashboard to manage Ansible because I'm not good with Ansible. So in here we've got like integrations. I don't have any of that. Repositories. These are basically Git repositories that are set up. This was Nighthawk because he's got some good stuff in his repository, and I cloned some of it for my own needs. In the key store, we've got stuff for there. We've got some environment variables there that you need to set up Ansible. Inventory, we've got LXCs, we've got PVE, we've got VMs. The only one I'm actually doing right now is this. Then the schedule, update LXCs at 7 o'clock Sunday morning. I also had one for VMs, but I ran into a lot of issues with VMs. So about once a month or something, I log into my VMs and run updates, that sort of thing. And then the task templates for updating the LXCs. Here we can see that, but let me see. This is local. So I want to do Ansible support. Nope. I don't remember what IP address that is. So if I come over here to Ansible support, come on, click like you mean it. That's this. Where is it? It's on 186, which I think I did on purpose. So if I switch this 185 to 186, I can come into here and I can get logged in. And again, none of this stuff is actually online. This is all Watchtower is disabled on that too. Damn it, interesting. And we can see that I haven't updated any of my containers in here since December 12th. So that's good. That's definitely how I should be doing that. But then in this instance of Git, I've got different playbooks in there basically that it pulls and it runs. So if I want to manipulate how my LXCs get updated, how my VMs get updated, maybe I can. Let me do this real quick. Let me do it this way because I don't want to inadvertently cause an issue here. Ansible playbooks. Update app. PVE update 6 months ago. Yeah. Let me do this. Screw it. Okay, so what we'll do, I'll just kind of zoom in on this. All right. So this is what the playbook looks like. The 8 lines up here that you can't see are the credentials, effectively, to do what it needs to do. But basically, we get our host names, we make sure that everything is updated, we do updates, then we upgrade. So it just kind of goes through this list of things. I didn't write this. This is 100%. I copied and pasted this from Nighthawk's repository over on his GitHub page. So I didn't actually write any of this. This was something that was pre-created by somebody else, and I modified it to fit my needs. Because that's how I do Ansible and Semaphore and this sort of thing, because it is still black magic as far as I'm concerned. But oh, you know what? Screw it. While we're here, we can see there were some issues. This was me testing some stuff back in December. Apparently, it didn't run, or it failed 2 weeks ago, but then was fine after that. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe it'll tell me. Oh, it didn't. Did all of that. Changed, failed. Interesting. Something happened on 139, and so because of that, it declared a failure on that. I don't even remember what is on that IP address. But that failed status was because one of them failed, not all of them. So I feel like that should be. I really feel like instead of saying failed, it should say error or something. Trad's here. Glad to have you here, man. Thanks for joining. My only issue with Semaphore is it doesn't play well with volts. Hey, that playbook looks familiar. It should. I'm curious about hardware choice for self-host. We've talked about that a little bit in previous streams. That depends on you. That depends on what your needs are and what you're trying to accomplish. That's like saying, should I buy a car or a truck? I don't know. What are you trying to do? Like you in theory could get away with a mini PC. I've done that. Like for a while, my entire home lab ran on. Well, basically my entire home lab ran on this for a while, except for Plex. I had something else for Plex. But like all of my websites and all of that sort of stuff was always on here. Something, same form factor, different. This is from TrigKey. I think the one I was actually running on was a B-Link SEI 12. But it depends on what you're trying to do. So, looking for Semaphore docs, or looking at Semaphore docs, it even has LDAP support. That's cool. Not currently using that, but a good point. Let's see. Sam says, always buy a Jeep. I like the idea of Jeeps. But from my experience with Jeep is that I don't know if they're gutless. I don't know if drivers are scared to drive. I don't know if maybe they're so used to climbing rocks with them that driving on the road is what keeps them from knowing or from actually pushing the gas pedal down. But I would say, at least in my area, where I live here in Colorado, 95 of the Jeep drivers that are out there don't know how to push the gas pedal. It's I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day. If I ever became really, really rich, if I ever won the lottery or whatever, right? And I had an unlimited budget, I would buy a Jeep. I don't know if it'd be a Renegade or if it would be a Wagoneer. I don't know which version of Jeep I would buy, but I would buy a Jeep. And then I would drive it. And that would tell me if the issue is the Jeep or the drivers. And if it's the Jeep, okay, fine. But if it's the drivers, then I would absolutely LS swap it and put a turbo on it. And I would show people that Jeeps can go fast. Just because so many Jeep drivers here are unable to go the speed limit in Colorado Springs. Let's see. Anyway, that's enough of me bashing on Jeeps and their drivers. I use a Gen Machine Ryzen 5 7350U with mini PC with 32 gigs RAM. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's basically what this is. This has got a Ryzen 7 5000 series in it. So our numbers are flopped. You've got a Ryzen 5 7000. I've got a Ryzen 7 5000. I don't remember what spec was actually in this when I got it. I don't know if I can get in there right now. Oh, there's a screw right there. Now I'm curious, because just because I haven't been diagnosed with ADD doesn't mean I don't have it. Nope. Let's see here. Come on, sir. There's a screw over there too. I had two screws in the bottom of this one. I must have been feeling really, really diligent that day. So many more screws. Oh, this has got a butt ton of of RAM in it. It looks like. Oh, this has got 64 gigs of Vengeance RAM in it. DDR4, 32 gigs, two sticks of Vengeance RAM in there. I may type that. I may swap that out for something else, or to put that RAM in something else. I have plans. I actually want to put that RAM in my ZemonCube. All right. Alexia says, "What is your journey from mini PC to a server rack? What changed?" People kept sending me stuff. That's what changed. For a while, like I had a bunch of stuff in my living room, and somebody sent me just like a 4-post rack that was supposed to be like a wall hanger, had feet. I put it on the floor. It was fine. Then I moved out here to create content, and Techno Tim, did a video about his sysrack setup, and so I wanted a sysrack setup because that looked really good. So I reached out to sysracks, and they're like, "Look, if you buy one and make a video about it, we'll work something out." So I bought one and I made a video about it, and then they saw the video and they just refunded my entire purchase price. But ultimately it was just because otherwise all of this stuff would just be stacked up somewhere. Like the HL15 being rack mounted was kind of it just made sense to do it that way. But again, for the longest time, in fact, I'll show you. So for a while, my entire home lab was a Synology DS1621XS Plus and 3 Zima boards. They were running Proxmox in a high availability configuration, and it worked great. Like it genuinely worked really, really well. But people just kept sending me stuff, so I kept growing. Come for the DB Tech content, stay for the DB rants. Dude, I rant a lot. Nito says, perhaps I don't remember, but did you tinker with Tailscale? I did. I did a couple of videos on Tailscale a few years ago. There are lots of other creators who have made newer, more relevant content revolving around Tailscale, I guess. Great product. Let's see. Do I spot a 45 drives machine? You absolutely do. It is. It's an HL15. Basically, if you go to HL15, so basically, if you go to the HL15 store and you click burnt in and you select white, they actually added a customized front plate for me. Like basically, if you, they've bumped that. Okay, so 2 changes here, which is great because it's been a year. I only have 256 gigs of RAM, and I know I say only. I don't know if I've got the 6230R for the processor. Summary. Of course, that doesn't tell me anything. Of course. Let's see. Summary. I do have the 6230R. Okay. So, basically, if you just come through here and you click. Well, they didn't send me the Noctua fans. Noctua sent me the Noctua fans. Basically, if you just max out everything that's in here, that's what the 45 drives folks sent me. I got really lucky. Again, I don't have the maxed out RAM. That is new since I got this. But basically everything else is just maxed out. And I feel real fortunate for that. Let's see I'm a Jeeper. Are you implying something? I'm implying, no, I'm not implying. I am flat out saying that most of the Jeep drivers in Colorado Springs that I have seen can't or don't know how to make their Jeeps go the speed limit. My My storage server is an older Chenbro 48 bay, which I believe is the original design. Wow, that's a 48. That's huge, man. I only have 64 gigs of RAM in my mini PC. Dude, I know. Like, I understand that me saying I've only got 256 gigs of RAM. Like, I understand how awful, how out of touch that sounds. I am aware that this is highly overpowered for what I'm doing in here. Like, I could very easily, and I still may, I could very easily throw Proxmox on the Zima Cube down there with the Intel Arc A or Sparkle A310 as my transcoder and save myself a bunch of overhead. But now that I know I've got 64 gigs of RAM to throw in there, I want to do that first. Docker client always needs a restart. That's weird. I don't have any experience with Mac, so I can't give an option there. Common issue with Jeepers, not aware that larger tire equates to inaccurate speedometer. That's true too. Which blows me away, because a lot of these guys have Jeeps that are custom built. Like, they take them to a shop, whether it's a rock crawler shop or whatever, and they get them built. So I would think that they would be able to recalibrate via the ECU or whatever the speedometer, unless it's cable driven, which may cause other issues. But you would think that they would be able to tell them, hey, you went from 18-inch tires to 45-inch tires. Your speedometer is going to be off by 12 miles an hour. I don't know, but it's just something that I have observed here. But you're right. Bigger tires, changing your tire size will absolutely screw up your speedometer. Sitting here with multiple R730XD setups, all with Unraid on them. I've actually never used any of the R series setups there. I'm running 37-inch tires with a 4-inch rock crawler suspension. I'll use a supercharged to recalibrate the speedometer, but I also use GPS to verify my speed. Right? Use a super chip. That makes more sense. I mean, if you got a supercharger on there, man, well done. But a super chip, that makes sense. I also, and thank you for knowing that that's an issue and doing something to compensate for that, to understand that your speedometer is wrong. There are so few of you out there. Earlier, when you were going through your checklist of things to update, was that Gotify? It was Gotify. Yep, well spotted. I actually made a video on it a while back that actually did pretty well, I think. Gotify. This one. Yeah, 56,000 views. And brought in 600 new subscribers. That's crazy. But of course, I mean, that launched on my birthday last year, August 28th. Interesting. But yeah, that was Gotify. I've been using it for a while. Love it. Didn't understand it at first. But yeah. But no, big fan of Gotify. Works really well. Has never failed me that I'm aware of. And then, that's funny. So now that I've started Watchtower on Semaphore and my Ansible support LXCs, now it's like, hey, we're going to check in about 24 hours. Let's see. You have to be careful when selecting Dell's PowerEdge servers. Some of them, like the R5 series, don't balance RAM dilemma and PCI lanes between CPUs. Oh, that's no good. The RX, a bit interesting. The ones I have are the 12 3.5 bays to 1.5. Nice. They allow for I had to explain it to you. Yeah, I think you did. I think that absolutely sounds like something that happened. 400 watts each. Holy crap. My whole rack is running less than 500 watts. You've probably got obviously a lot more throughput available to you. But yeah, I'm about 470 watts presently going with two NASA's, the HL15, a mini PC and a vCPU, or I'll pull in about 500 watts, a little less than 500 watts. And even then, like, again, I feel like that is too much. And I'm actually thinking about migrating all of my, almost everything on the HL15 down to the vCPU. I might maybe I'll do a video on that one of these days. And because I'm pretty sure that the HL15 idles at like 200 watts with its current configuration, but I don't have a power meter on that to verify. So yeah, that's currently what I got going on. One of these days, I really should also do a I should do one of those home lab update videos. But again, I say that like I want to do another video about what I've got going on in here. The two problems that I have, the first being nothing's really changed since the last one I did almost a year ago, or about a year ago. The other issue that I have is something is about to change, and I want to wait for that change to happen. And I'm still waiting for more information about that. Okay, so mail subsystem delivery issue. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, that's something else. Yeah, if you want to use that video vote site, you have to actually put in an email address because it has to email you a link to log in. That way, I don't have any of your credentials or anything. Or you can use a third party, either Google or GitHub. I believe those still work. But yeah, if you put in a bogus email address, it's not going to work. So, I think my rack runs about 1,300 watts, and my sub runs another 200 watts. I mean, for that much stuff, that doesn't necessarily surprise me. All Unify gear, Dell, and multiple APCs. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have to replace. I'm going to have to replace the batteries in my UPS. It's been running for a couple of years, fine, but it's going to die on me one of these days because that's what they do. I just don't know what the actual. I've never actually gone through that process. Trip light. I've got a trip light. Oops, trip light basement batteries. Let's see here, just to get an idea. Oh, trip light. Let's see. I don't want to look at the power users. What I don't know, the wife doesn't know either. That's fair. Check prices. That's a 2U. I mean, that's probably pretty close. I mean, $300 to replace the batteries. That's not terrible. That looks pretty close to what I've got. Maybe one of these days. Maybe one of these days. I just ordered new batteries. This week. It's not bad, and they're easy to replace if you swap the. Nice. $490. Yeah, I don't actually know which one I've got down there. I haven't looked in a bit. I think it's the 1500 VA. But again, I would actually need to make sure I've got the right information on there to get the right stuff. But it seems like, and look, this is me ordering directly from Eaton. There are probably other options out there that would be cheaper. You have 9 small CyberPower UPSs on your rack. That's impressive. I've got the one out here for the rack that gives me 15, maybe 20 minutes if the power goes out before anything happens. I want to get another one though for my area up in the front of the house that has my fiber modem drop-in thing. I know it's not a modem, but you know what I mean. And then the kind of the brains of my network as well as my laptop out there. I want to get a UPS for out there just because. Yeah, the beeping is real. I believe that. With one is bad enough. Nine would be overwhelming. I think 9 would be far too many to deal with there. Oh, somebody, I apologize. Somebody donated $2 earlier, or we've got a couple of donations that totaled $2. So thank you to whoever did that. I didn't get a notification on it. So I apologize. If you're over on Twitch, if you've got an Amazon Prime membership, you can actually link your Amazon Prime to, oh, that was Zero Linux. That was just earlier. We did that already. Anyway, again, thank you, Zero Linux, again, because my brain's not paying attention. If you're over on Twitch, you can subscribe for free here on the channel using your Amazon Prime account. You get like 1 subscription per month. So if you want to do that, that would be cool. Obviously not required. You'll just see ads about once an hour. We've got ads coming up in about 13 minutes, it looks like. Again, I need to get another screen over here so I can make this see better. Because you get 2 suggestions on your video vote page. I did. You're absolutely right. Let's actually video vote. Let's take a look. Macrobin video. We talked about that. That's great. And then we've also got Watch State. Let's see what's this. Watch State is a great tool for syncing your Plex MB Jellyman across. Yeah, I think I've actually seen this before. I use Plex and MB for different reasons, and getting my on deck across platforms is amazing. Yeah, I think I've actually seen that before. Oh, good. They've been doing recent updates. They've been doing updates on this. That's great. I think we even talked about this briefly in Discord at some point. Change that if necessary. I mean, it looks simple enough to set up, but that would also involve me having to set up a Jellyfin instance, which is, whatever. But yeah, no, I know I've taken a look at this, but I've never made a video on it. And I think part of the reason for that is, in fact, this is a good segue. Part of the reason I think I haven't made a video about that is because the content mods on YouTube are stupid. Not all of them. I understand that's a grand call for generalization there. But YouTube mods are stupid. Just making a blanket statement there. I know there are exceptions across the board. I have made videos about how to download older versions of Windows legitimately from official sources and been hit with community guideline strikes. I think it was Jem's Garage made a video about his Plex instance, and it got hit with community guideline strike for piracy. Whereas there are videos currently online by creators that I know that have made videos about how to deploy the R stack, and it's fine. Like where they're actually legitimately showing how to pirate things, that's fine. But downloading a legitimate copy of Windows, that's piracy. Showing how to install Plex, that's piracy. So the mods over on YouTube are very, very often very, very stupid. If there's a YouTube mod watching this right now, I hope you're not one of the stupid ones. That said, there is some content that I want to make. It was actually brought to my attention recently that I want to make and share to YouTube, but I can't because it will probably get hit with a piracy situation or whatever, like, violating terms of service or whatever. So I can't make that video there. So we may end up doing a Twitch only live stream about that particular thing at some point. I will be sure to post over on my social media profiles when that live stream happens. But I can't run the risk of YouTube being YouTube and hitting me with a violation because they don't understand. Have I thought about PeerTube for those videos? I have. I have looked at all kinds of alternatives for for hosting this kind of stuff, whether it's Odyssey, or I think I even for a while had a Rumble account. Like I've thought about those other things. The problem ends up being that, and I know that this is me being a whiny creator. I'm aware of that. I own that. If I go and I put a lot of effort into one of those videos and put it on a different platform, nobody will ever see it. Even if I say, hey, look, I've got this other platform where you can go watch these other videos, it's a different platform. And that, again, this is me being a whiny creator, so do with that what you will. When I put a lot of effort into a video and I put it on a different platform and it doesn't get any views, it screws up my brain a little bit. I'm like, well, why am I even bothering? And then I have to reconvince myself, no, that's a different platform. That's not where the primary focus of your audience is. People don't get notifications when I put out posts on my YouTube community tab. People don't interact, or people don't get notified if I post on X, because I'm not going to pay. I say X. I'm not going to pay Twitter to promote or to not bury my posts. So Facebook is just as bad. It's like, oh, we're going to show this to 4 people, but for an extra $12, we can show it to an extra 5 people. So I'm not going to pay them to share my content. So if you want to follow me on Blue Sky, if you want to follow me on the Fediverse, I'm over on Fostodon. All of that should be linked in the video description in some capacity. So I have a hard time. So you need something to aggregate all the views from the platforms you're posting to. I mean, that would be ideal, but that ends up being a pain in my butt too. So what about making a post on your blog? I could do that. Let me see. Let me see if I can get logged in here. Let me get logged in over here. No, that's not the one I wanted at all. Damn it. Come on. It's that one. Verify that. And then, yep. And we'll log in with that. Does your blog have an RSS feed? It does. It's WordPress. So if I go over here to dbtechreviews.com, so this is my these are my views over the course of the last month on my blog. About 3,000 unique visitors. So I don't know. I got it posting to your blog adds SEO as well. Yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing. Right, like my Proxmox backup nightmare, has this entire blog post written with links to everything and the video about it. That video didn't do well anyway, which is, I don't think that video did well. Maybe it did. I don't remember. Yeah, no, and I agree. I haven't really touched SEO in a really long time. That's kind of the problem with being a one-man show of sorts, is that I have put myself in a position to be the one required to come up with the ideas, do the research, write the script when necessary, make the video, edit the video, upload the video, write the video description, write the video title, write the blog post, aggregate everything across all of the different social medias. It's a lot. It's a lot for one person to do. The problem is that I don't make enough money on any of this to justify hiring anybody. So it's I'm doing what I can where I can. I've got different, I've got what is it called? Yeah, I've got active pieces set up, but even it loses its mind from time to time. So basically, this is how this is how today's live stream started. Was I was prepping the live stream for all of this, and Active Pieces here was like, "Oh, you're live. Let's do that. Let's share that you're live when you're not." Which is why I was super confused when people started showing up to a stream that didn't exist, because I hadn't published anything. There was nothing on my homepage. There was nothing on my live tab. There was nothing in my dashboard other than people started chatting, and I was like, what the hell? And then I realized that Active Pieces here had gone off the rails, and because I had changed a setting in the back end of YouTube Studio, it's like, oh, you're live now. Let's make a post about that. So let's see. SEO tuning is a complex process. That's why, partly why so many creators use clickbait titles. I agree. Chris Titus has some videos about his blog and video process. I should probably watch that. Chris Titus is a smart guy. Hello from Italy, and thanks for the precious contents of the videos. Matteo, thank you for hanging out and saying hi. Appreciate that. I probably should. Let's just do YouTube. Let's see if I can find something to watch, not here, but later. Chris Titus Tech video process. I don't know if this is going to get us. Video up to, no, let's try blog process. Blog process. Nope. How I do websites and hosting, Twitter infrastructure go down. This isn't helpful. Video just stopped. It looks okay on my end. I can't. That's not to say you're not having an issue. I'm not trying to say that at all. Twitch. Let me see over here. Oh, it sure did, didn't it? Let me see. No, it appears to be working. I'm not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Weird. Did you find on YouTube? Yeah, it probably just a little hiccup. It happens. Look, if you can find. Peter says greetings from Montreal. Thanks for joining, hanging out. Appreciate you being here. So Sam, if you can, like, if you don't mind sharing a link to one of those videos over on Discord, that'd be amazing. Or the title of a video here in chat. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Sam. That's actually what I was hoping for. So let me do this. No, stop that. Thank you for that. WordPress. Nope. Interesting. Yeah, I'll dig through that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to save that for later. Oh, it was your cell network. That'll do it. Yeah, Sam, thanks for sharing that. I will take a look at this later. I'm actually gonna pop me back up over there. Go to Gmail so that I can take a look at this. Great. Over here. Workflow was the search term. Cool. Thank you. Trying. There we go. Workflow video. There. Now I've got that. Just to take a look at that later. Definitely do that. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Self-hosted Hugo for the win. I feel like I've heard of Hugo. I've never used it though. I don't know what it is. Hosting and deployment. Static site generator. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to dig through that video just to see. Sven says, "Og, I'm late again." No worries, man. I try to post on all of my socials when I'm going live. Today was kind of a crapshoot with the way it all went live, because Active Pieces backstabbed me a little bit because of the settings in it, whatever. But yeah, I'll take a look at that. Maybe I can automate some of this. It would be nice if I could. Original stream today was because I was Hugging General RSS feed stream. Gotcha. My site is created with Hugo. That's cool. I'll definitely take a look at it. I've been using WordPress for so long, and then like I've looked at Ghost, and it's good, except that there's no way to just mass delete tags from that migration. So anyway, we'll see. Sven, dude, thank you so much for that. That was really nice of you to donate, to gift 5 subscriptions. That was really, really cool. Thank you. Super appreciate you for that. But yeah, I'll take a look at Hugo later. That'll be fun. Always looking for something different, and maybe there's some content there as well. Maybe the content, maybe the story behind this is setting this up and migrating, because I imagine there's got to be a way to migrate from let's see, migrate from WordPress to Hugo. Yeah, migrate to Hugo. Codebase CLI2 migrates. Yeah, cool. Let's see, Octopress to Hugo. Let's see. Oh, wait. WordPress to Hugo Exporter, a one-click WordPress plugin that converts all pages, posts, taxonomies, metadata, and settings to Markdown and YAML, which can be dropped into Hugo. If you're having trouble using this plugin, you can export your site to Jekyll and use Hugo's built-in Jekyll converter. Cool. That might be a video right there. That might be the whole thing right there. So, yeah, that might be good. Let's see. Yeah, I believe that. Like, here's the thing, though, right? Like, if you go to dbtechreviews.com, it's not slow. Like, it's not a slow site, and it's built on WordPress. So, it's, I'm happy with how fast this site runs, but I'm definitely kind of over it. Have you ever thought about switching to Mac OS? Maybe you've already talked about this in one of your videos. Unsure. Here's the thing. In fact, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I like the idea of Mac. I like the idea of Mac OS and iOS, and I like the idea of all of that, where everything just works together. My issue with all of that is, up until recently, like I had an iPhone 3G or 3GS, I don't remember, and then I had an iPhone 4, and that was the last time I actually used an iPhone. I have an iPhone on the shelf back there that I was using as my teleprompter up until recently, but I don't. They put a bad taste in my mouth for a number of reasons. The first one being, for the longest time, you couldn't. When you got an iPhone, it's like, here's your iPhone. You can use it the way we've dictated that you can use it. And after having been on Android for so long, being able to, have widgets. I know widgets are a thing now, but for years and years and years, widgets weren't a thing. I couldn't create my own pages. I couldn't do things to make my life easier with iPhone. It wasn't an option. It's like, you're going to use it the way we say you're going to use it, and that's the only way you're going to use it. And that's really off-putting to me. And their whole thing, I don't know, man. I don't know if they got it. But anyway, like, they're very, it's our way or no way, from my experience with it. And then their whole thing about, like, oh, well, like with Android, you've been able to do all this thing for a really, really long time, but now we're going to say we've invented it and it's better than ever, when it's barely on par with what we've had on Android for years. There are lots of aspects of iOS and Mac and all of that are amazing, that everybody should be able to implement in some capacity. But when you're dealing with Android, you've got 10 different versions of Android out there at any given time, and dozens of different manufacturers, and you can't streamline that process as well when you don't control the software and the hardware like Apple does. So that's why Apple is so good at what it does, but they try to lock you so intently into their ecosystem that getting out is super, super hard. So that's kind of my issue with that. Plus, it's like, oh, and that was the other thing I was trying to remember, is it's the elitism within the Apple community. Like, I have seen Apple users be like, oh yeah, no, Androids are better, but I keep buying it just to dunk on the Android users. So if that's the mentality, I don't want to be part of that. So yeah. I've been looking for a way to, like WordPress has, so I can update posts from outside for free. Yeah, I haven't used another content management system outside of WordPress in a really, really long time. I used to use apps to do the RPC XML. In fact, for a long time, I had to disable the RPC XML functionality in WordPress for security reasons because it was so buggy for a while. The only thing I like over Apple's that I like Apple ecosystem for Android is how long Apple supports devices. Agreed. My favorite was the Windows Phone. I had a Windows Phone for a while. It was cool. I don't remember. It was on a chunky slide out setup phone, but it was easy to use. I appreciated that. But yeah, I can't bring myself to switch to an entirely new ecosystem, for the sake of switching to a whole new ecosystem. I use iPhones and Androids. Whenever I speak to people about phones, I always get the same feelings from Android users, to some degree. But I think a lot of that is retaliatory for the cult that it happens to be Mac sometimes. How simple app is because of a short attention span. Swift is bloated but nicer than Java. Windows Phone was way ahead of its time. Yeah, like I think it was like 2008 or something when I had a Windows-based phone. It was all plastic. It felt super cheap. I have the Android Note 10, iPhone 11, Mac OS, Linux, and to some degree Windows custom. Yeah. Aruna says, I wonder how many people will move away from WordPress after the owner guy went a bit insane. Yeah, Matt Mullenweg used to be kind of a hero to me. And then I quit caring, and then he popped back into the spotlight with his nonsense. And so that was honestly one of the reasons that I thought about moving away from WordPress, was because, again, association, right? I didn't want to be part of that. And I agree, Collins, that the reality is somewhere in between the cult-like statuses on both sides. Like, when you've got, it's the same thing whether it's, Republican and Democrat, Apple, Android, AMD, Nvidia, whatever, right? Everybody's got their extremes. So I know that was another big generalization there, but yeah, it's unfortunate that people are like that. Ford and Chevy, Coke and Pepsi, right? Exactly. Yep, you're 100% right there. So it's, and I don't remember the last time I had a Coke or a Pepsi, if I'm being completely honest. I don't, anyway, but yeah, so I guess it's, and it's probably a bias because I'm on the Android side of things that I see more vitriol coming from the other side. Maybe I'm just kind of immune to it because I'm on the Android side of things, which I think is, people tend to go into tribalism. It's part of human nature. Yeah, people should resist it better, though. I mean, tribalism is how we got this far in evolving from, even if you only say the last, like 2,000 years, tribalism has kept us alive over the last 2,000 years. So, so it's there. A certain amount of tribalism is good. Where you start having issues is, is when you start saying, well, it's my way or the highway. I think is where, or when your way starts affecting the ability of others to live their best life as well. So I agree. Please tell David. Isn't even a fight dark mode for life. Yeah, like I am very, I am 100% all about Team Dark Mode. I absolutely am. I have received some comments that, just for instance, that like this is harder for people to read when I'm doing my videos than say this is. Apparently, dark mode causes people issues when they're watching content. I don't have that issue, but I don't know. I can't speak for everybody on that. I can't find dark mode. There is no best life with light mode. Yeah, I prefer dark mode whenever I can use it, but I always try to understand that other people do have their preferences as well. I wish I had the same time and motivation to share my tech knowledge in a meaningful way. So here's how you do that. Like, I actually have a solution for you. What you do is you get a disease that nobody's heard of, and then you spend 6 months in the hospital, and then you spend another year going to dialysis, and then no, don't go that route. Because of all of my medical nonsense, I've been out of the workforce for more than 8 years. And I had to come up with a way to bring in some income. And I wanted to create content. I made some content a couple of times before I started being a content creator, and it went really well and I really enjoyed it. So then I just started making content. And I know that not everybody has that free time. I totally get that. So in a way, I'm fortunate that I do have the time to do it. On the flip side of that, the only reason I have that amount of free time is because of the medical nonsense that I've got going on behind the scenes. And that's a fair. Aruna says that, to be fair, blue text on a gray background with added YouTube compression can be a bit hard to read. That's fair. Absolutely. Sam says, I have 2 kids that eat all my time. Yeah, I have one, and he's a lot. I say I've got one. When I got married, she brought kids into the picture. One biologically hers, one from a previous marriage. Not biologically hers, but was there for a long time. They actually live next door to us now, so we're doing good there. But one that lives here that takes up a lot of our time. In fact, here in a few minutes, I'm gonna have to get off of here so that we can go pick him up from his daily therapy. Steven, no worries, man. I'm good. My stuff is well under control. But the reality is, like, I could fall off basically at any time. Last January, January of 2024, I spent basically all of January in the hospital from a plethora of things that hit me all simultaneously. I ended up with pneumonia, pulmonary embolisms, deep vein thrombosis. Both of those are blood clots, one in the lungs, one in the legs. I ended up with both of those simultaneously, which landed me in the hospital. And while I was there, I caught COVID from my roommate in the hospital. So I had 3 things actively keeping me, or trying to keep me from breathing. So I was on a bunch of air. I was on 40 liters of air for a while, and it was a craptastrophe. But I made it, and here I am, and here we go. So feeling okay for the most part. Honestly, thank you for asking. I've been dealing with some edema lately. My legs are swollen up to large size, but that's partially a side effect of one of the other meds that we're using to treat the high blood pressure that's a result of the kidney disease. So like I've got stage 3B chronic kidney disease. It only goes to 4 before things are really bad. But as a result of that, my kidneys are being stupid and they're re-regulating my blood pressure improperly. So I'm on a vasodilator to help open those veins and arteries back up around my kidneys so that my body doesn't compensate. The side effect of the amlodipine, that's the vasodilator, is water retention. So I've been on the amlodipine for several months now, and it's been good. But I got into a bit of a scuffle a while back and bruised my leg badly. And for some reason, that triggered another round of edema. That said, I was already on Lasix, which is a diuretic to help pull fluid off of me when these things happen. So now I'm on Lasix twice a day, and I've been doing that for about 3 weeks. I guess about 3 weeks now. And last night I for the first time really saw some difference in my legs and ankles. So other than that, I've been doing okay. But it's my immune system is compromised. So if somebody around me gets sick, I'm likely going to get sick. And then because I don't have much of an immune system to do something with it, it has a better chance to mutate and become something else. And that's landed me in the hospital before. So it's always kind of a crapshoot. We were actually talking the other day, my wife and I, about when we go to the hospital, when we go to the store, when we do those things, we're probably going to start masking up again, just to be preventative, just to be overly cautious, and I'll deal with the nonsense I would get from that. So it is what it is. I'm doing okay. Again, just to clarify that, it's just literally at any point, anything could trigger another reaction. I could go back. I could come out of out of remission. Remission, is that what it is? If something's in remission. So I could come out of remission at any point based on any number of things, and so we'll see. And you're not wrong, Zach. And I actually appreciate that take on it, because that's what it is, and I think that's where a lot of confusion came from. It's if you yawn, if you sneeze, if you cough, you're not going to spread what you've got to someone else. That was the purpose of the masks, more of that than incoming. So, but it's definitely it definitely helps at least a little bit. And if I can take some additional precaution, and it doesn't really put me out, then I don't see why not. I definitely mask up. I go out since my immune system's compromised. It's annoying to me, but it helps my health and mental health. And that's the thing that people don't often understand. I know we're not talking tech. I apologize, but your physical health is absolutely tied to your mental health. If you're sick, if you're chronically sick, it's easy to let your mental health slide as a result of why am I here? Why am I bothering? Why me sometimes? And that's fine. That's a totally acceptable thing with chronic issues like that. But if you don't do something about those chronic mental health issues, your physical health either won't recover as quickly or won't recover at all. So it's important to keep those two things in mind when you're dealing with stuff, because your mental health can affect your physical health, and your physical health can affect your mental health. It can be a nasty spiral if you're not super diligent about taking care of both. So I'm glad to see other people understand that. Symbiote, thank you, appreciate that. But yeah, so it's my health is doing okay. I've got referrals in for some new specialists. So I've got specialists that I see regularly. I've got hematology, I've got which is blood. I've got pulmonology, which is lungs. I've got cardiology, heart. I've got rheumatology, which is kind of full body stuff. That's kind of the all-encompassing management solution for the granulomatosis with polyangiitis that is my underlying condition. I've got a referral for a new neurologist. I haven't seen them in a while, and I've been having some brain issues recently. I've always been scatterbrained. I've always been a little bit absent-minded and kind of all over the place. So there's that. But my wife and I had a conversation the other day. Or something popped up in my feed, and I was like, hey, did you hear about this? And she's like, we talked about that yesterday. Literally, we had an entire conversation where you looked at me, we had this conversation, and I was like, I have no recollection of that at all. Which was kind of scary. Gave me a hot flash for a few minutes, thinking, crap, what else have I missed? So I've got a referral in. I need to call them today or tomorrow and get something scheduled so that they can probably look at my brain again and see what's going on there. So hope you get well soon. Glad you're doing better now. I thank you. The thing that sucks about a lot of autoimmune conditions is that they're lifelong. You can control them with medications and treatments and that sort of thing, but they're a lifelong thing for the most part. Specialists without some kind of income to help is expensive, and that piles up quickly. That's true. I got lucky in 2016 when I got really sick. The doctors, well, the hospital that I went to was amazing. It took them 3 months of stuff to figure out what was wrong with me. They were so confused that they brought in the CDC for a bit to do some testing on me. Like my case was kind of a big deal in the local hospital that I was at, because they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They, like, every time I'd start to come back up, my numbers would start doing better. I would crash out again, and they couldn't figure out why. It took them 3 months and 3 comas to get a diagnosis on me. And once they did, they were able to start treating it, and it got better. But while I was there, once they got the diagnosis, and well, in fact, even before then, once I had been there for a couple of weeks, and they saw that my kidneys were failing, and they saw that I was having all of these issues, the hospital actually started all of the paperwork on my behalf to get me set up with Medicare and Medicaid. Because I had enough conditions going on simultaneously that I qualified for both immediately. So the hospital stepped in and they filled out all of the paperwork, and they're like, here, look, verify all of this. I was so far gone. My girlfriend at the time, now wife, looked through everything. She's got a really extensive medical background. She looked over everything, verified everything. I signed, and just that quick, I had Medicare and Medicaid. And so my portion of the bill was a few $100, but that was 6 months of hospitalization, roughly 6 months of hospitalization, 4 medically induced comas, months in the ICU. It was quite the trip for 2016, and luckily all of that has been covered by Medicare and Medicaid. In fact, Colorado's Medicaid solution has been paying for my Medicare as well, which has been super, super helpful. A lot of that, like, I got to a point where I was making enough money that I didn't technically qualify for the free Medicaid, but then COVID hit. So I was supposed to pay for my Medicaid, but then COVID hit, and Colorado's like, no, we got you. And it wasn't just me. It was most of Colorado was like, don't worry about it. We got you. It's taken care of. But I got a thing in the mail the other day after I did my renewal saying, hey, we're doing away with the Colorado funded thing. So you can be part of the buy-in program again, or still, or whatever. But I have to wait until March to find out what that looks like as far as my monthly share is concerned, and whether or not they're still going to cover my Medicare portion of things. If depending on what that looks like, things may change drastically for my finances. I don't know how much I'm going to have to pay for any of that, but I'll know more in about 3 weeks as far as what that's going to look like. So a lot of that is usually swirling in the back of my head when dealing with this kind of stuff. I want to get in and see the neurologist before everything falls apart with insurance. So I need to make that appointment soon. So yeah, no, DE, thank you. I appreciate it. Look, it was a rough time. It was a rough few years. I've made videos about it. In fact, I've got an entire YouTube channel dedicated to, let's see, YouTube. Let's do this. That's not what I meant to type in. DB, no, let's go here. DB stuff. Yeah, so copy link address. So I've done, I'm just going to share that a few times just so that it's easy to find. The DB Med stuff, that's me. That is kind of me documenting a big chunk of my medical stuff over the years. Not all of it's medical stuff. A lot of it is, though. Like there's some other stuff, and I wanted to kind of break out and be more of a vlog style channel. But yeah, it's, there's some fun stuff in there. There's some sad stuff in there. There's a video in here where, like, middle of the night I heard a noise. And here, let me back this up a little bit. I got up at some point and I heard a noise in the kitchen. Let me do this. I heard this noise in the kitchen. Like it says here, I thought it was one of my cats. And then I realized, no, we had a raccoon in our house. He was over there he was eating the cat food and drinking the water and that sort of thing. That was one of the cats we had at the time. We ended up calling him Munch. But nobody was aggressive. Nobody, like, he was just checking things out, right? He wasn't, but he just chittered. He made some noise. And he was a lot of fun. But yeah, he was going back over there to get some more food. But yeah, so there's stuff like that on that other channel as well. But yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff on that channel if you want to check that out. Dee says it was your videos of your health that got me to your YouTube channel. That is an interesting. Like, it usually doesn't go that way. So, but no, I'm glad you found us. You're part of the community. I think that's amazing. Sivag, thank you. Appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Again, doing well. It's you never really know when things are going to take a change for the worst or different or whatever. If you go back to that DB Med Stuff video or that channel, you scroll all the way to the bottom and you take a look at the very first video on there. That's what my voice used to sound like. This is not. This is my new voice. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. But yeah, so that's just a quick update on me to wrap all that up. But yeah, so I'm gonna look at Hugo. I'm gonna check out that Chris Titus video to see what his process is for all of that. I think that's gonna be super interesting. I'm also gonna add this URL to that as well, just so I've got that for later. And then I need to look at that email as well. But yeah, that's yeah, Stephen. I've done all kinds of other content for different reasons. Most of the medical stuff that I posted was partially so that I could go back and I could, when I'm having a bad day, I can go back and see how it used to be. And that's been super helpful for me. There's one video on there on that DB Med Stuff channel where it's like, you know, something about getting into bed for the first time after 8 months or 6 months or whatever. I can't watch that video without crying because it was such a big moment for me, for my family. And I know getting into bed seems like a weird thing to be a big moment of, but there was a lot of other things that played into that. But yeah, so I need to do another update on that channel because it's been a while. Like, it's been a while since I've done an update on that channel, and I really should. So, but I think that's gonna wrap me up for today. We've been at this for about 2.5 hours, and I've loved hanging out, and glad we got this. I'm glad we figured out that the issue is absolutely my Focusrite thing here. I'm gonna take another look at doing a mini PC. Streaming setup instead of this old beast of a machine that I've had for 6 years almost now. But yeah, I think I've got some stuff on my plate to take care of. Thank you guys a lot. Thank you seriously for hanging out today and chatting and going through all of this with me and doing updates and giving me other things to look at and listening to me ramble. I super appreciate all of you. Again, I've got some stuff coming up that may be Twitch only, just because I don't trust YouTube's moderators, but it is what it is, as they say. So, yeah, I will keep you guys posted. Definitely check out, follow me on social media outside of YouTube if you want to know when my live streams are going to happen. Just because YouTube is really bad about sending out notifications. So, so again, thank you to everybody. I've really enjoyed hanging out and chatting today. So with that said, I will chat with you guys later this week. I got to come up with a video to put out, and then we'll do another live stream probably Saturday. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for hanging out today.